advising week.
That's fine. This will not take very long at all. So for anyone that's joining us asynchronously, this is moderator session. I'm Zachary Idala, the president of NRHC. This is Jess McCourt. She's president-elect. I'm just going to show you a little bit about how we've set up the moderator schedule and some of the main things to keep in mind when you are moderating. But first, thank you for agreeing to do that. We couldn't, we really rely on the membership to help us out with this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the moderator schedule, and there is some updates for that I want people to be aware of. So let me just pull that up real quick. So you should have received this in an email with all the, session by session, time by time, and all of that stuff, and where you have been assigned as a moderator. I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that the locations are likely to change. We've just had some meetings with the hotel, and we had to reshuffle like where things are going to be, but the time and the session and the title of the session that you are scheduled to moderate will not change. So where you are in the schedule is where we will keep you. It's just that your room will probably shift sometime between now and the conference date, and we will absolutely share an updated version of this so that you'll know exactly where to go. But everything else stayed the same. And when we made the moderator schedule, we tried to make sure that folks were able to moderate folks that were presenting from their institution so that they wouldn't miss presentations, and then kept them from moderating when they had other students presenting in other sessions. So we tried to accommodate everybody as best we could. So just keep that in mind. There are two types of sessions that people are going to moderate. The first are the academic panel sessions, which are your traditional, academic talk. And then the roundtable sessions. So I figured we would just take them piece by piece. And you should have received these guidelines as well. So for both panels and roundtables, if you haven't moderated before, the idea of a moderator is to make sure that the entire session runs smoothly and that everyone gets their fair share of time within that session to present and field questions. And so what we ask moderators to do is to make sure that the presentations are loaded on the laptop before the session starts. Speakers will show up a little bit early. There's a 10-minute gap in between from session to session, so there should be plenty of time for folks to come, log in, get their presentations loaded onto the Chromebooks. And they'll know this in advance. They are Chromebooks, and so they'll have to have things either as a PDF or as Google Slides to make sure that they have access to it. Basically, your job is to make sure that the panel starts and ends on time. We ask that moderators stick to the presentation order as stated in the schedule, and we do that simply because some people try to move within a session from room to room, and we want to give them a sense of when in the schedule they can expect to see a talk. So if they know that someone in the schedule is slated to be the third presenter within a session, they know approximately what time to show up so that they don't miss it. And so that we ask that people don't switch people around within the session so that other people coming will know that people will be speaking when they expect them to speak. Each speaker, of course, you'll make sure has an equal amount of time to present, that there's a smooth transition from speaker to speaker, and that they facilitate Q&A. So just some things to keep in mind. You'll obviously know when and where you're scheduled to moderate prior to the conference. You should expect anywhere between 3 and 4 presenters for any panel that you are moderating. There may be more presenters because some presentations have multiple co-presenters, but that's fine. You just introduce them as needed. Try to get to the panel session early. Again, making sure people load their presentations. And the key thing to do is make sure that each presenter is given their 15 minutes to present and presenting in the order that they're listed in the conference program. So person one starts on time, they get a total of 15 minutes. If they do finish early, you can give them whatever time is left over for Q&A, but after their 15 minutes are up, the next person should start. And so what we also ask, even if someone finishes early, wait the full 15 minutes for the next presentation to start. So if there's downtime of 2 or 3 minutes, that's totally okay. People can take a break or whatever. If a presenter is a no-show, we again ask that you wait the full 15 minutes that was originally allotted to their time. I know that may sound a little bit weird and may not be what people who have moderated before are used to, but again, we just want to keep the presentations in order so that people that are moving within a session, if they know someone is scheduled to be fourth in that session, they don't show up at that time and then find out that the person went 15 minutes earlier because there was a no-show in that session. So it's okay if people chat for a little bit, you know, within the session to fill that 15-minute gap, but we don't want to skip unless of course there's a major tech issue or some other thing that would derail the entire session, then fine. But we try to stick to it so that people can be aware or can be reasonably sure of when people are going to be speaking. There is going to be an IT phone line in there. We'll also have the moderator instructions that we're looking at now printed out and in the room. So you don't have to memorize these or print them out yourself. They'll be there. Your job during Q&A really is to just facilitate discussion. So people raise their hands, it's your job to call on them or whatever. At the end, announce the end of the session and thank folks for coming. And there'll be certificates for you to hand out too, and those will be given to you in advance as well. That's basically how the panels run. Is there anything I'm missing, Jess, that you can think of? I think that pretty much does it.
I can't think of anything. Sorry, I had my video
That's
off
okay.
for a second.
That's okay.
I can't think of anything else. I
Okay.
did, you did.
Yeah, so the job is really just to make sure things run smoothly, right? Move from introduce the speakers. If you want to do a quick general intro in the beginning, you can do that, or you can just introduce them as their time comes up. Do you have any questions for us? No? Okay. So what we'll do is we'll move on to roundtables. Roundtables are it's basically the same idea, but a little bit different in terms of the format. These are roundtable discussions where we split the session into two equal-sized pieces in time, and people sit at one table for the first half and do their discussions, and then you can invite people to move if they care to for the second half of the session. If they're having a good conversation, they're not required to move. So if people are engaged and interested and want to stay at the first table that they were at for the roundtable, they're free to do that too. But once again, for the roundtables, presenters are going to be set up at their tables in the session prior to the start time. If they have any materials that they brought with them, they will have them on table for them. There's no AV in these rooms, so all the presenters are bringing whatever materials they have with them. So you don't have to worry about loading presentations or anything like that. Your job really is to make sure that everything starts and ends on time. Encourage folks to switch tables after the first 30 minutes. So you'll set a timer. Once 30 minutes are up, you can give them a 5-minute warning if you want. After the first 30 minutes are up, you'll say, hey, 30 minutes have gone by. Invite people to switch if they want to, and then finish the last 30 minutes out. And then if there's time permitting at the end, you can open the floor up for general Q&A if people want to share what they talked about and try to make connections across the different roundtable conversations that were going on. But ultimately, roundtables function exactly that way. You'll give them 30 minutes and they can move if they want. And that's, again, pretty much it. All the other stuff is what we just talked about. Facilitating Q&A, facilitating all that kind of stuff, and then announcing the end of the session when time is up, and then handing out your certificate. I think that's it for that too. I don't have anything else other than to say thank you very much for once again agreeing to be a moderator. If anything comes up or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Northeast Regional Honors Council at gmail.com, our usual place. I'm going to turn off the recording and stop sharing. And then, Kate, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those for you.
I don't. Thank you very much. It's
Okay.
exactly how it used to be, with exception, of course, waiting for 15 minutes in case if needed to.
We've done that we've done it in the past where we've let people sort of, each moderator could do it however they wanted, but we've gotten I guess engaged feedback about people missing their students'
Of course.
presentations. And so, if this were, the American Sociological Association, we wouldn't do that because you miss a talk. But because directors want to see their students, faculty want to see their students, and so we're trying to allow that to be more predictable for them. But yeah.